Hi, I'm Michael Dardon, aka Magic Mike, and I'm going to demonstrate for you the Kaleidoscope cards, also known as the Rainbow Deck. You can order these, which is my recommendation because they're probably like $10 to $20 if you order them, whereas if you make your own, you're going to spend $100 to $200 because you pretty much have to have 52 decks of cards. But first I'll show you what it looks like and then explain the method. I collected a deck of entirely different cards, so every back is different. This from right here where we're performing Oswald's was Harry Anderson's club. Bunch of different ones here. We have Hooters, that was a fun night. A lot of these I won in card games with kids. I'm pretty good at poker. That's X-Men, my favorite there. And what I'm going to do is just start dealing. These are the last two cards I stole, actually, the two tens. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to start dealing, and you can just stop me at any point.
Stop.
Right there? Okay. Right on my X-Men card. Excellent. So I'm going to mark that spot by putting this 10 face up. That's how we'll know where you stopped me. And if you would do the same thing as I start dealing, just whenever you feel ready, just stop me at some point.
Stop.
Right there. Perfect. Oh, right on the holiday card, and we'll mark that by putting this 10 face up. So the 10s are now in the deck face up, and they're touching two other cards. You could have stopped me anywhere. All the backs are different, but the 10s should be face to face with another card. In this case, this one's face to face with this card, and this one's face to face with that card there. And out of the entire deck of different backs, it's really strange, but somehow you guys were able to find the matching backs, the only two backs that match. And not only that, but you were also able to find the mates to those cards, the other 10s. The only 4 10s in the deck, and I know that it's the only 4 10s in the deck because the rest of the deck is composed of jokers. These are all jokers from different decks, which makes this really strange. It's actually incredibly simple. Not necessarily easy, because anything you perform is going to take a little bit of practice, but this is not, it doesn't require any sleight of hand. It's pretty much a self-working trick if you remember what it is you're doing. These are the deck is exactly what it seems to be. These cards match. These do not. And again, you can make it up yourself just by getting a 52, or like, doesn't have to, nobody's going to count them, so between 48 to 52 different decks, and you just basically take the same card out of each deck. In this case, the jokers always work well. However, it is powerful when you have, like, say, all 10 of hearts, because they look even more similar. All the jokers do look different, so it may be more powerful to use a different type of card. So those are all different. You make sure that these do not match any of the jokers, and you get mate cards there. So those two match, these two match. You're going to take one of each of these. Also, I want to point out that you don't want these to look, see how these kind of look like normal cards? This is a fairly normal back. This is as well. That's a bicycle back. This looks very unusual. So does the Hooters cards. I try to avoid using those as the main cards, the key cards that we're looking for, so that it's not quite noticeable. So someone really isn't paying attention to what these backs look like at all. They're paying attention more to these. So I have these, my setup is, I have these two together right in the middle of the deck. And these two face up on top. So when I pull this out of the box, and you can use any card box, this is, I collect cards as well, and this was cards from Japan, so I thought it made a really interesting looking card box for this trick. I pull them out. I take off the two face cards, but I usually don't say anything about the two face up cards, but I usually don't say anything about them right away. And then I explain that all the backs are different. And this is fun because you could even tell a story about each card if you went to, oh, this is on that trip to Hawaii that I took in an alternate reality. Whatever stories you want to tell. If you're doing this for kids, you may not want to use the Hooters card. So, but of course, it is a family restaurant. Then when you find the backs that you recognize, which is these two, actually I should have taken that one out of there because it kind of matches, even though this is a bridge side and this is not. So we'll lose that one. Oops, sorry, okay? I cut at that point, and there's no move about it. I'm just spreading through and I just make a cut. It's a very natural thing to do. So when I start dealing, notice that this 10 is going to go down first, face down, so I start dealing. So once that 10 is down, now they can stop me at any point. I like to get an assortment of cards, a few down. You can even do this. You can do 2 or 3 at a time. It doesn't matter. And then they say stop. So in this case, we're stopping on the Oswald's card. The 2 black cards have matching backs. So I preferably want to grab this 10, but it really doesn't matter at the end. I'll show you why it's not going to make a difference. No one will notice if you happen to switch them, if the blue card is actually next to the red one. So that goes face up. So what's going to happen is, because I cut at that point, my setup was that the top card was the one that I've already dealt. The bottom card is the other 10. So when I finish the cut, I'm going to put the 10 right on top of the other one. So that one's done. The 2 10s are now face to face. And when I pick the deck back up, the bottom card, which is the first one I dealt, is the 10. So now it's on the bottom. So now, as long as I don't go past the cut where the 10 already is, as long as I don't go past that, then I can keep dealing until someone else says stop. Okay, good. And same thing, put the other 10 face up. This one's going to go right on top of it, and now the trick is done. But because of the manner in which it's done, it's not obvious at all that you really didn't do anything. It's not obvious at all. It seems that the person has complete control as to where those cards ended up. So when you spread them out, you then find the card that's face up and the one that's face to face with it. That's a pair. And remember, we stopped on top of this card, but it's actually the one that went on top of it that it's paired up with. So this card is face to face with this one. There's a pair of 10s. Well, of course, they don't know it's a 10 at this point. Spread them out one more time, show that all the backs are different, and that somehow, amazingly, they found the only matching backs. Okay, now in this case, I did have it backwards. So the reason it doesn't matter is because when I pick these up, I just put them together and show that they found, and it's not going to make a difference. It looks really good if you can remember which cards so that these actually match up perfectly, but if they're reversed, it's no big deal. You still found the only matching backs and also the only 10s. So the first reveal is that the backs match, because that doesn't make sense. It's none of these match. The second reveal is that you found the other 10s. And for some reason, which really doesn't make sense because the backs match up, it wouldn't matter what these are, but for some reason people will sometimes assume that the deck is all 10s and then that's why this part works. It's just a natural assumption, even though when you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Then that's when you reveal the most powerful part is that all the decks are jokers. Now this principle, the way that you're dealing the cards so that the cards are matching up, can work with an ordinary deck of cards. You could set up like all the aces or all the 10s so that you end up finding the mates to the cards. The only kicker is you wouldn't have the powerful ending of all the same card, but that principle will work with a normal deck as well. Any questions about this particular routine? Any question at all? Everybody got it? You ready to perform it?